Hello, this is Fernando Saunders. You're listening to Retrospectives with John Broughton on KC Radio 97.7 FM. Bye. Have a beautiful day.
Well, before we cover a little bit of history, as you've been telling me, you've been working on a new album. So what can you tell us about that so far?
Well, the new album is, how can I say? There's some, actually, it's a couple of songs that I wrote with Marianne Faithfull in the past. That's going to be on the record. And Barry Reynolds, that's a co-writer with her.
Yep.
And then I wrote a song with a guy, with two musicians from the Bare Naked Ladies, and I don't know if you heard of them in Australia.
Yeah.
And then Ron Sexsmith.
Oh wow.
Wrote a song. Those two guys wrote a song, and I'm not having too many collaborations. I mean, as far as guests, I'm not at this moment, but maybe I may have Vinnie Colorado or something. I was thinking about Marianne, but she's not so well, and Marianne Faithfull. But I have like I started the album before the crisis. I should have sent you a video I did, but now it's too late now because I did a little short documentary recently, and it talks about the new album. And but then the lady took it down.
Oh, what shame.
And because she took it down, they put it was only for private. It was in Czech language, and then it was in Czech language, and I did it in English, but there were some Czech people speaking. So when they were speaking, they left that in Czech, which is okay because I'm in Czech Republic. But when I was speaking, they put Czech voiceover.
Oh, okay.
So they put an English version on, so I can just look at it, private YouTube. But now we got the text for the English version, so the guy that was listening to it can follow the time codes and stuff. So she just took it down. So
never mind. Yeah. So what's the projected time frame for release of the album?
At this point, it keeps changing. Because since I have a lot of time, I think I'm taking too much time. But I'm definitely in the new year. And if not, I'll make sure I have a single ready for the new year. I have a song called We Are People. Really beautiful song. I wrote with this guy over here. And I'm using a lot of musicians from all over the world, even more now because of the technology, because of the situation. So I just send people audio files and they do their thing and they send it back, But and then a lot of instruments I'm doing myself and singing, all the singing.
Oh yeah.
And and then I'm trying to think, do I have any guests on the record? On the last record I had Susan Vega, Lou Reed, Jan Hammer. But I'm trying to think about. Yeah, it's not too many. It's mostly some special musicians like the drummer from Chasey Chapman, Denny Funheiser, probably for sure Vinnie Colorado on something, and maybe Jerry Murata on something. I'm not sure about that, but I do drums too myself. So right now I'm just in between them, and then I'm wanting to put some of my old school friends that I grew up with. I say, wait a minute, I want them to be part of this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So so they're great horn players, and they help. They're in contact. They have a big connection with Stevie Wonder in a strange way. I was just talking to my brother, and he said Stevie just called. He's in contact with those guys all the time, right? And he said not specifically for playing, but it's a new keyboard out, right? And they explained to him how it works, and they just say you just go left, right at this thing because he knows the keyboards, He knows. But he needs a new one, so it's on the upper left, blah 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 blah, upper right, and then he's okay, bye. And he's working he's working it better than people that can see.
Isn't that incredible? That's incredible.
He probably sees inside of the computer. There's another. He just needs to know where the functions, because the functions are easier now with everything now, right? It's not 20 steps anymore. It's just like one step left, right. And so anyway, so these guys are going to do something which is really I'm really happy about. And I'm gonna have my brother, and but more so I have one song called "We Are People." You can tell from those kind of titles. We are people sitting on the top. Never looking down. It's like that's one of the verses. One of the verses, of course, is like sitting on the top, never looking down. Sitting on the top, no one's around. A pocket full of money, not a friend to be found. Sitting on the top is a lonely sound. So that could be, that means a lot of things. Politicians or everyday people, you know what I mean? And it doesn't mean so. And then so when this crisis happened with the virus, everything changed. So I said, wait a minute, I have the matter of fact. Some of the songs I didn't feel anymore. You know what I mean? They say they don't feel right. So I went, but I had a big batch done. But now that's changing a little bit. Because sometimes you get hit with something like this, and I say, wait a minute. I know I wasn't crazy about some of those tunes I wanted to do. I know I really wanted to do them. And so now the feeling is coming back to do those. I had a few concerts, but they were canceled. I did one recently, which was interesting and I was nervous about doing it because it was a strange concept. They say people can wear a mask, have to wear a mask, but when they're eating, they don't have to wear a mask. I say, that's stupid. and when they drink, they don't have to wear a mask. I say, okay. And the musicians don't have to wear a mask, but if you go to the bathroom, you have to wear a mask. But some people have masks on, and I saw the situation that people are really hungry. You mean everything? You can see everything on the computer and all this stuff, and that's great. But people are missing just contact. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they sure are.
They were so thankful. So every time I do my concert, I don't know if you know on my album, I did a song by Lou Reed called Jesus. I don't know if you heard that. Did you hear that?
Yep.
Okay, and I did it. I used to do it with Lou when I was doing live shows with him, and he. Anyway, he came to make a long story short. I had a record, a song of his called Baton Rouge, and I redid it. I kept the backing tracks and redid it. Fernando duet with Lou. And strangely, in Germany, in Switzerland, a few markets, it was in the top 10. So they invited me to go to the radio station in Switzerland called Color Trois, Swiss Ramada. It's a big radio station. And then Lou heard me on the telephone because I was on tour with Lou, and my album was up in the top 40. It's very strange. I'm on tour with Lou Reed, and my album "I Will Break Your Fall" is in the top 40. not even knowing that my album is in the top 40, because I'm in the. That's why I say, okay, you really are a musician. You're not a businessman. So I'm on tour with Lou. And I was wondering why he's always really nice to me. He probably was wondering why I was there. But I promised him that I always will, if he needs me, I will be there for him. I told him I would stand by him on that record that came out during that time period. And I think it was Ecstasy. I can't know if it was Ecstasy. It was a couple of records in between. That was that, and then the Berlin tour, But anyway, so Lou came with me. He would hear me on the telephone, and he knows like what's going on. I kept calling back. He said, if they want me to come, tell them I'll pay for my airplane ticket. Don't worry about it. I want to help you. And plus, he wanted to go, obviously, because the song is getting on the radio.
Yeah.
So he goes with me, and one of the songs we did was I did Jesus. He sat in with me on Jesus, Baton Rouge, which is, and a song of mine, Revi and Cherie.
Oh, yeah.
I think, so, because that's one of his favorite songs. That's how I got the job with him. He came to one of my concerts when I was like 21 or something, and after because they went there, a friend of mine was in this band called the Bare Naked Ladies, and not the Bare Naked Ladies, the Outlaws.
Oh yeah, there.
And Freddie Salem. I think maybe you may have been and you spoke to him, maybe not. But anyway, Freddie was a big fan of mine because I was working with Jeff Beck, and he knocked on my door. Fernando. He said, my manager manages Lou, and they're looking for somebody for Lou's next album. So I recommended you. So anyway, Lou came down to one of my concerts, and after the concert, he asked me, "Did you play that? Did you write that song, Reverend Cherie?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, you can play on my album." And I really didn't understand what he was talking about when he said that. I said, "Wow!" To me, Lou Reed was Vicious, Sweet Jane, Wild Side.
Yeah.
I was not really familiar with Perfect Day or not even Satellite of Love. And then I started thinking, I said, wait a minute, he has a romantic part of himself because he wrote those beautiful songs later. When I was with him, I realized. And then the songs we did, I Love Women. He just has another hard way of showing gentleness and romantic, but it's there. So that's the story with that. But anyway, Lou came to the radio and we did that, and it was broadcast it's called the European Radio Broadcast or something like that.
Oh yeah.
They recorded it, and then they asked me. They said you can have the live tapes, and the end of the interview. We submitted to the European broadcast, and each country can pick it up without you being there. So we picked up a lot of stations. We did pretty good because it was the Coldplay and Laura Jones were like the biggest ones, but I did pretty good. I got a lot of broadcast. I think it was broadcast in your country. You have a European broadcast, right?
To be honest, I don't really know.
Well, you don't know what I mean. Yeah, I'm sure you do, but you don't know the radio stations. So one day I'll look at the list just for fun and see. But I was playing in places that I would never dream of. Yugoslavia,
Wow.
Russia. I said, yeah. So they're all part of the European broadcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So So anyway, go ahead. You can ask me back because I'll keep talking. At least you can tell I'm in a talking mood. So
yeah.
That's good.
No, that's great. Love it indeed. We're just talking about your introduction to bass. I believe you actually were proficient on other instruments beforehand: trumpet, saxophone, cello. What steered you to the direction of the bass?
In the strangest way, it's like my mother. Well, first of all, my uncle was a great singer, James Hambric. He passed away, but he was like a really. I didn't know he had a few big hits, and people. My brother was telling me more things recently because we were really little. We were like 6 years old or something. Mm. But anyway, my uncle, when he would come to Detroit and start singing, and he would be a guest, and then the Temptations and all these people, and they said, James Hambric is in the house. Everybody gets really quiet. Because he could really, I'll send you something 45, something that somehow ended up on YouTube. I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
What were you asking me? Oh, say that, sorry. What did you say? What were you asking me just now?
What actually steered you towards the bass? Yeah.
Oh yeah. So my mother didn't want me to play music. It was very strange. I think she would, how parents are. At that time, Jimi Hendrix was dying, and everybody was ODing, and I don't know why she saw it that way. She saw it. And plus, my family is really a religious church family, which is, I wish I had an interview. I'll send that interview to you later so you can hear it. But anyway, my family is really like that, and maybe she didn't want me not doing something that she felt is not in God. You know what I mean? Not for the church, but anyway, I was playing the trumpet, and I got a scholarship even, and I went through all these instruments because we had in those days, you probably even in your country, in the old days, or maybe you guys are still in the old days, but America's not. But in the old days in America, the instruments will come. The school has instruments for you. It's like going to the library. You say, I'm taking out a cello today. Yep. You sign it out and you take, and so anyway, I went through all these instruments, and they were all kind of strangely easy for me. I think I was luckily enough had the ability to pick up any instrument, and at least I can make a sound out of any instrument. saxophone, oboe, bassoon, very difficult instruments. I could, because that's the most important is getting the sound, and then the rest is like at least. But anyway, so she didn't want me to do that. So then she, my uncle promised me he was going to get me a guitar, to make it short, and then he passed away, and then my mother got me the guitar. And I went under the Christmas tree, and there was the guitar. And so then so to make it short, I was the guitar seemed easy to me for some reason. So I said, well, let me try something. And then to make it, so the really strange reason, my neighbor got an electric guitar, so I decided to get electric bass because I thought we grew up together.
All right.
So just picking on the bass was a mistake. Was just for that kind of silly reason. I said, okay, I'll get a bass guitar, then we can grow up and make a band. And sadly, he passed away as well. And then from that, being in Detroit, I'm surrounded. But I still play guitar too. I still kept playing. I kept breaking the two little strings. And plus, I was not really the E and B string. I wasn't playing them much anyway. Even when I was playing guitar, I was doing everything on the 4 strings, chords and everything. And I self-taught myself, and then the rest. Amazing things happened, obviously, but that's how I became a bass player. But my first instrument is singing. I mean, we have to talk about that now. But the singing is the whole key to all of it, because luckily, in my case, singing helped, because any kind of melodies, I'm thinking about the singer. Or if I'm playing on a project, I'm thinking about them. I'm able to sing there how a singer would like to hear the bass, or if I was a singer, how would I like to hear the bass around my vocal? I do it that way, So say if you're a singer and I was recording you, I would listen to your song, I hear your voice, and then I would in my head, and then I think about what complements your voice, not to take it over, not to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or how to read how. And so I really had that, because plus I was having classical training and stuff in Detroit. We had. But anyway, but being surrounded by Motown, obviously I'm born in Motown.
Yeah, of course.
James Jamerson, Ron Carter, and everybody in the city. So it's a lot of competition. Music surrounded by us, and luckily we had a radio station. And in those days, it was only one radio station. There was no pop radio or black radio or James, rock radio. It was one radio station. It was called CKLW, and it played everything. It could be a classical. If it was a good song, it's a hit. It was no categories. It could be Miles Davis. You hear "Love Supreme" on the radio because by John Coltrane, because it was a great song, so it was number one. And then the next week you hear MC5 and the Black Sabbath and James Brown, Aretha Franklin, Iggy Pop, Ohio Play, everything. So when I was telling you that being born in that kind of society, it was kind of good, because we had to learn know all music, and we had introduced to a lot of music because of that radio station. It was playing a variety, just whatever is good is good. And so in being in Detroit, you have to be ready. You just can't be. You can't say, "Oh, I don't play jazz." So I didn't see it as jazz. I didn't see jazz as jazz or pop music as pop music. And actually, at that time, the definition of pop music was popular. It wasn't. Then it became somehow it changed into pop. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a category, but the original thing was pop. Pop was popular. There was not whatever is popular is popular. And but anyway, so we had to be ready, and in that environment, and it was a lot of great musicians, like a lot of you, as you can imagine, Marcus Garvey, Harold McKinney. I don't know if you heard of these people. And these were all like teachers of ours, And then everybody's coming through town, as you can imagine. Detroit was like the Mecca. You're walking down the street and you see Jeff Beck or George Benson. So I was lucky that way. And then my mother was a great singer too, but she decided not to do it.
That diversity is something that's carried you right through your career too. You've played with artists of so many musical genres.
I'll say that again.
That diversity in the music that you grew up listening to, all those different styles, it's something you've carried right through your career in terms of the people that you've worked with. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I could be working on the Lou Reed song, for example, and something I did with John McLaughlin, or some other experience, or Sun Ra even, or whatever. For that 5 seconds, I hear that mood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was able to go between, because it's songs have different dynamics, different moods. So some driving parts, some melodic parts, some open parts, and it makes it. And so anyway, yeah. So that helped me a lot to be from all that musical background. So or it can be a section in a song. Like Lou Reed had a song called what is that? The Blue Mask.
Oh yes, yeah, the Blue Mask.
And that song is I never really sat down to figure out what it is. It's in 1,000 time signatures. It's like because in Lou, he's following the words. And the chord goes on the word. It's a completely different, so there's no chord chart for this. It's like the words. She said on the back and making how the G. And then he ran to the doctor and ran the A and the A, B, C. You know what I mean? He told you how to run and ran around the G, G, G. Then this guy I had this drummer come with me when Lou passed away. We did a concert and a few concerts in Spain, and obviously they all wanted me to do some Lou Reed thing. So then my friend wanted to record a Lou Reed tribute album in the Basque language, and he wanted to do the Blue Mass. And I brought this drummer with me. He was a great drummer, Dali Marantz, young drummer in the Czech Republic, in Ostrava. And he's really technical, and he couldn't figure it out. I said, he said, he said, no, stay in the room with me and direct me. But definitely, but all that music, so yeah, okay, go ahead. Just when I start spacing out, ask a question quickly.
Let's talk about your days back working with Jan Hammer, and how do you look back on those days now in terms of your development as a musician?
Oh yeah, Jan. What's really strange about Jan is that before I wanted to work with Jan. Because what's really is strange. Before I met John McLaughlin and Jan and all these people, I already knew how to play that music, because as teenagers, we were inspired from that. So we were sitting, learning, and jamming. We had cover bands covering the stuff, Mm-hmm. So we were ready. Then I heard that they broke up, and then a year before that, I saw Jeff Beck playing at the Cobo Hall Arena in Detroit, Michigan, with Tim Bogert and a three-piece band.
Yeah.
And I always respected Tim Bogert and the drummer, how they play together. Really beautiful, amazing. I learned a lot from Tim Bogert, actually. So anyway, I saw, and I said, I wish I could play. I want to play with that guy, Jeff Beck, one day. So anyway, I go to New York. And then I said, when my Vision will break up, I was wishing that I could play with. I said I wanted to play with Jan Hambric. I said I'd like to play with that guy, because I knew they broke up and they all were making their own albums,
Mm.
And then I ended up in New York, to make it short. And then I was playing with this guy named Larry Young. You know of him?
I'm not overly familiar with Larry. No.
He was in a band called the Tony Williams Lifetime.
Oh yeah, yep.
And we used to listen to them. The reason why I got familiar with a lot of music, because my saxophone player, a friend of mine in Detroit, his brother was a little bit older than us, 10 years older. And he had an amazing record collection. And he was an artist too. So when he wasn't around, we would go into his vinyl collection and start listening to Bitches Brew, Miles Davis, And so we could really, for some reason, we were attracted to this. So we knew all about John, or we turned each other onto things. One guy said, "Have you heard of Tony Williams' Lifetime?" We're like 10 years old talking about this stuff, and I said, "Yeah, we heard of that." And Herbie Hancock, and so we were kind of familiar. So by the time when Larry Young died, I was playing with Larry Young. To make all that, I'm just trying to tell you everything. I was playing with Bohannon before that, Hamilton Bohannon, which you heard of him, which is a dance band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot of that stuff with me, Wawa Watson and Ray Parker, and then meanwhile it was a bass player there, and his wife was having a baby soon. He got tired of being on the road, and in the good old days, all musicians looked out for each other, and now every man is for themselves. But in the old days, nobody was jealous. I said, no, hey man, I can't do this. You can get there. You can do it this week or whatever. And they're not worried about if you may take their job. We just help each other. So anyway. So the guy just said, he said, no, you go. So I went to New York. I met Larry Young. To make it short, Larry Young was when Larry Young plays, every musician in the world comes to see Larry Young. All the keyboard players, Wick Waitman, Herbie Hancock, Emerson Lake, all those guys are sitting right there. And I really didn't know those. I didn't know that he was like that. And I didn't know those people were in the audience, right? So anyway, Larry Young dies. And then I was in New York and I said, oh no, I got to go back home. I guess I got to go to school because my parents said, either you have to get a job or you have to go to college. So I said, I'll stay in the summertime in Connecticut. And just jam. I just practiced, and my friends said, Fernando, let's go down to the city. To Clive Davis make these music jazz concerts every year, and with a lot of great musicians, the Brecker brothers and Harvey Mason and George Duke. He would do this kind of thing every year. So anyway, I went backstage, and after the concert, I went backstage. And they said, "Are you Fernando?" And they said, "Yes, we've been looking for you." So anyway, I got 5 offers, right? Mm-hmm. And I took Jan Hammer. I went with Jan Hammer. And they called me. I went to Jan's house. But what's really funny, I already knew the music. I knew the formula, how it works, because I already was playing that stuff as a teenager in Detroit. We were playing. Matter of fact, when I met him, I was 18, 19.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's that. Then a year after that, he said, Fernando, Jeff Beck wants to put the Jeff Beck Jan Hammer group together. Do you want to do it? I say, yeah. So that's. Then one thing led to another. Then the same office, the same manager that was working with Lou Reed. The same manager that was working with Jan Hammer was working with John McLaughlin too, and he was in the same office. So I see John McLaughlin coming in. He said, "I want to play with you one day." I said, "Okay." So it was like that. It's like it was no internet. Networking is going outside. That's what I said in that interview. I'll send that thing to you when it's ready. There's another one I did, but this one is. They both have something, but this one is special. It's about the new album and stuff. But anyway, so I go back. That's what happened.
So moving on, when you started working with Lou Reed, did Lou express to you in the beginning just what he wanted you to bring to his sound?
Well, actually, when he came to my concert, I kind of knew what he wanted, because he came to my concert and he says, "I like how you." Well, first of all, when he tells you he likes a song like Reverend Street, that's already telling you. Because I told him. I said, I don't know why you really want me, but I can do this. I can play heavy, hard rock stuff and everything. But if you're really looking for just a typical pop guy, and I said nothing to take away from Marcus Miller, I said he's great. And a few other guys, I said you should just call Marcus or someone. He said no. And he said I like what you're doing. He said because he said you were playing melodic and you play rhythm too. And that's what I want. And plus I like how you hear songs, because you wrote that song. So that's how I got that was pretty much it, because I told him, I said, this is what I do. Now, obviously, I did tell him I can do other things. I do. I said I play on a lot of pop records, but it's not like where my heart is. But people call me, and I do more of the. I said I play with this guy named Bohannon, this disco guy. So like I said, because nobody can believe that I'm playing with one of the original disco bands. You know, it's kind of funny, right? And guess what? Then Lou told me, "You play with Bohannon?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "That's one of my favorite bands." Okay, you can be. There's another reason to have you on my record. and I noticed that you play with John McLaughlin. I love that. And he was like, it was really kind of funny. Lou was like, he was like more excited about me playing with him than me playing with him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He was like a little kid. He said, "You really want to play with me?" I said, "We're negotiating it at the club after my concert." He said, the manager says, Lou wants you to do his next album. I said, yes. So I'd like to introduce you to Lou. So I go to Lou, and I said, "Lou, how you doing?" He said, you really want to do it? You really. So I cannot believe it, right? You know, can you imagine? but he never told me. I went in the studio, and he booked the studio for 5 months or something. And I guess because I don't want to say anything, but in those days they were partying in the studio, as you can imagine. You know, so it would probably take 5 years to do the record. So, but I said, man, we need 1 month, 2 months at the most. So I say 1 month, that's all we need. You know, if it takes me 5 months to do a record, something is wrong with the record. You know.
Yeah.
You know. So anyway, so we started. So the first song was Our House. And he was just fooling around. And then I just like bloom, 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 this harmonic things and stuff. And he said, "That's what I want." And he never turned around and said, "No, don't do that." So I was looking at his face, and he was vibing on it, you know. So I said, "Okay, he wants me to be creative," you know.
So he did give you a lot of freedom to contribute anyway.
Yeah. Because he never did say don't do that. He said, "Can you do more? Can you do that again?" But as you see, I Jaco Pastorius is great, but I didn't know who Jaco Pastorius was, which is really, really strange. But I decided to go in a more different way. He went more. I was playing that stuff. But Jaco decided to be more showman, you know. And I went from the school of. Have you heard of Charlie Hagan?
Yep.
Yeah, I was inspired from that. That less is more, you know, like the moments and really. And then when I was playing with Bohannon, even I was taught that way because before. I was like all over the place when I met Bohannon. I was like, and then he said, I know. He said, "That's great. You can do that." He used to call me fast hands. He said, I know you can do that, but don't do it. But when you do it, say something. He said, it is needed. It's needed, but when you do that. Make a statement and then go back and you use your technique, but don't show what you can do. Show make music, you know, and that's what really. So when I met with Lou and my thing with Charlie Hagan, just sometimes I got Charlie Hagan's and Mingus. I learned a lot from those guys and the cello too, and just playing. Even listening to Miles Davis, he wasn't. I know Miles can do all that. I wasn't listening to the early Miles Davis. Obviously, he was, you know. But when I got into Miles, he was like, you know, right?
Yeah.
And Wayne Shorter too. You know him, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. Just you know what I'm talking about. This is like really hard. That's really hard to do. Less is more. Because you're exposed. If you hit the wrong note with less is more.
It gets noticed, yeah.
Yeah, you're out the door. You just pack up your bag and say, "Okay, bye, I'm leaving." You know, but Lou just let me. And then I realized I saw Lou as a painter. I saw him as like Picasso, Dali. Miles as lyrically, I saw him at that level of Miles, and because even Miles and these people like Lou, because they knew that something was in there with the lyric, and that was Lou was like that too. Less is more, because Lou told me a story that he went to school for literature and he knew everything. Because sometimes you can tell he throws out in his interviews, he can be very highly intellectual.
Yes.
And but he said he met he said Doc Thomas, right?
Of course, yeah.
We did that song Magic Moment, right? I think. Yeah. And he said he met Doc, and Doc told him he said and now you have to learn how to say the same thing with simple words, and that's more difficult. That's like pretty much like saying using no big words. You know what I mean? Not even extravaganza. If you want to say something about extravaganza, you say that was a great moment. You break it down. You know what I mean?
Keeping it simple, yeah.
Yeah, he said that, and he said that was really hard to do, and he said that's how he learned how to write. Because like Walk on the Wild Side is simple, right?
Yeah.
It's like very, very, very simple. And I'm sure he can explain it another way at a higher level too, without using simple words. And he said, but he just realized, he said just like learn. Remember saying learn how to say it, but break it down. Use both. Like the same with me as musician. That's like that. That's what Bohannon said. Use it. Less is more. But sometimes So that's really difficult. And then Lou I used to listen. Lou, he used to always give me his lyrics. I was really wondering. I said, why this guy wants me to, he's a great lyricist, and he always asks me if does this make sense? And then I thought it was a compliment. I made it. I'm sure he didn't mean it that way, but I started thinking about it recently. I said, maybe because he knew I don't not as educated as he is, and he wanted to make sure, can I understand it?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, but I was working. He would ask me sometimes to write stuff. He said, "Well, how would you say this? How would you interpret it?" Because I knew what he was writing, and I said, "Well, I would take out lugubrious and this, and say apathetic." I said, "I would take that out." Because it doesn't sing right, and I said some words you can do because they do work. They even simple words. Some words don't work singing. Because I used to be very pronunciation, very detailed when I was singing for Kip Hanrahan record once. You heard of Kip Hanrahan, right?
Yes. Yep.
And then Kip Hanrahan, he gave me the lyrics, and I'm singing. It says. I would like to go to a store and there. And so I was singing, I would like to go to a store. I would like to go to a store. He said, don't say a, say Yeah, because it doesn't sing right.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I would say, see you later. He said, don't say later. Just say later. So I learned because I was really articulate. That's from my instrument. Made me articulate as a singer. So then I had to undo that. I had to learn. I said, wait a minute, because I'm from a gospel background, singing family, and I meet this guy Lou Reed that can't sing a note. And then I said, wait a minute. So I'm getting back to Lou. So I said, then he gave me this tape of his, a cassette. I wish I still had it. It was a tape. It was the Blue Mask on just him and acoustic guitar.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and telling me what to learn. And then I got into it. I started listening to the lyrics and stuff. And I said, wait a minute, this guy is like he's like a poet. He's an announcer, like a poet as well. So when he first went in the studio to do the first song, like I said, was Our House. And I can't remember the first lyric. It says something of the poet in the house, and then as soon as he said that, I just saw myself as being part of a movie soundtrack, and that's how I approached the whole album. I just said, okay, he's not. He have headphones on and hear this guy's voice. You know how his voice is.
Yeah.
And his voice is it's like this person speaking into you in your head. while you're playing. So it was just beautiful, you know what I mean? And I got really deep. I got really deep into Lou, you know, like from that, you know, from that point on. And then my mother came to visit me, and I said, I played on this guy, Lou Reed. He's not really a singer. So I left her the album in the house. I went shopping, and then I came back. She said, I listened to him, the Lou Reed album you gave me. He has a really pleasant voice, you know. So then I started learning that singing is not always singing. You know, everybody can sing, but can you tell the story? And that's what I learned from Lou, you know, how to tell the story. And Kip too, from Kip Henry and all these people, how to tell, because everybody can sing technically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so that's easy. So, but can you tell the story and get into the words and you know what I mean? It's like being an actor. When I met Kip, he asked me, "Can you act?" And I said, "Yes, I guess I can act." And I didn't know. I thought he really wanted me to act in a movie or something. So I went. So it was a recording studio, and he's wanted me to act as a singer. He said, "This lyric is a smoky guy, alcoholic. This lyric is about a guy that lost his girlfriend. I want you to be happy guy on this one." The smoky guy voice almost destroyed my vocal cords. I was going, I said, no, I can't do that for an hour. but anyway, but Lou he kind of like out of all the artists, anyway, I work with John McLaughlin, Jan Hammer, all these, you know, it's a whole list of people. And then all that learning, all that technique, everything I learned, I was able to use it in Lou Reed because there's so many different subjects and different topics and different feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we did it pretty much in 2 weeks.
Talk about playing with a fretless bass, which you do. What appeals to you most about that?
Because I was playing cello in school and upright, and then plus it's like you can move around on it, and I like that you can move and you can sing with it, and you can do that on a fretted too, but it was a little restricted. But to be honest, you know, a lot of people, no one really knows who created the first fret, but it was a couple of people in Detroit. One guy named Seaway. Sadly, he became alcoholic, and I hope he's alive. I hope he's okay. Bless his soul. But him and another guy named David Shields, they took their frets out, the bass.
Oh yeah.
Because we were all learning from the same school teacher, and we all somehow we're upright. We were learning on the upright, but we wanted to have that feeling from the upright or cello on the bass, and they didn't have none. There was no fretless at that time, so those guys took the frets out. So I did that too. I asked them how they did it. They took the frets out. They were a few years older than me. They took the frets out, and they put contact cement glue in it, you know, to keep it, you know, in the holes, but still it would bow a little bit. It would still bow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wouldn't hold it completely, but it helped. And then eventually I was able, when I met Jan and people like that, then I was able to get people to make me custom made basses, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how it really happened, from the upright and plus singing. And plus I was playing the bass because I had a band and we was getting really successful in Detroit, a 3-piece band called Bone Mill. But those guys weren't as serious as me. I was like really serious. I said, this is like life or death. There's plan A. There's only one plan A. There's no plan B. Okay, plan B was to go to university, major in music, so I can be fall back. I could be a professor, you know, and fall back on something like that, and maybe chemistry, you know. But meanwhile, I was not in the college at that moment, so it was only one plan A, to be successful, so I had this band, And those guys, one guy was working with his father's construction company. He's making a lot of money, like $200 an hour. So why would he want to, like, he wants to be a musician, but he was comfortable with this big money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so I just said, okay, the next offer I get, I'm taking. But anyway, in that band, I was singing. And then when I went to New York, I didn't walk in as a singer. You know, I walked in as I had all these things, tools I can use to make money and to promote myself to to be successful. So most of the time I was playing I did a lot of singing commercials and stuff like that. And I made a band in New York as well. But still, where I was making my money was playing with people like John and Jeff Beck and Larry Young, and a lot of albums and stuff. So I was missing singing, and so I was singing on the bass. So all those melody parts you hear, the do do do, I love women, do 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 do. That's
really singing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me singing. So I got to sing here. I'm gonna sing somehow. So that's how that happened. And I just started, and I needed a fretless bass to do that.
Yeah.
And I was doing it because I was doing it on the fretted for a while. I went back. I was playing fretted for a while, but then somebody stole one of my basses and it was really custom made, and it was not like fretless necks around all that at that point. It wasn't so popular.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, Andy DePica, that was working with Jan Hammer, he was like really perfectionist, like a tech head, and with everything he does. So he wanted to make the ultimate, perfect, no lump, everything right place, and so he made this beautiful bass for me. But so anyway, that's how that happened. So that's from the church, and I guess I'm singing in my head, and then I would just how I explained it to you. That's how with everything. And then sometimes I hear choirs, I hear orchestra, sometimes I hear the bass as a trumpet. Sometimes I'll keep the grooves, in parts, but meanwhile there's spaces, and then I would fill them, but I never did fill them. You never hear me go. I never would do that, I would do what I explained to you, and so that's how the whole thing happened. It was really until I said I'll sing for now, and then Lou let me sing on one day with a song on the Blue Mass called Heavenly Arms.
Heavenly Arms, yep.
Yeah, one day I was in the studio and he started trusting me. And then I didn't know. Then I found out later. He said, "That's why they have you here. He's looking for a change. Do what you want to do." He's looking for a new door, a new experience, and he likes what you do. He wants you to do what you do if it was your band, Which was really funny because in my own records I don't do that. There's no bass featured at all, It's really kind of funny. It's like I'm into songwriting on my solo albums,
Yeah.
But Lou left me in the studio and I said, I got some background vocal ideas. I said, okay, just I'm gonna go out because he started feeling insecure,
Mm-hmm.
He would go take breaks, go have lunch with his wife, He was like really happy. God, I guess like no band members doing drugs and passing out, or people came to the studio. They actually are in the studio today. So even though I know not to knock those guys, there was some great records too that Lou did with this great music. I've been doing some research. There's some great musicians,
For sure.
But anyway, so that's what happened. So Lou left me in there, and then I got Sylvia, na 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 na, do do do. That's from my gospel background, those do, do 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 do. And he said, "That's all you." He said, "You don't bring people in." I said, "No, man, I just do the whole thing by myself." So anyway, so that was it. So Lou, strangely, out of all the people in the world, that's where I featured myself the most. Is you would think it would be John McLaughlin. Even I did some great stuff with John and Jeff. But how I really feature myself is on I think like it really shows my heart of the bass is on the Lou Reed records. It's very strange. Who would dream? And but sadly, those records were not like big top 40 records, so I didn't get a lot of. I got recognition. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I got recognition, but but still, if it was a Bruce Springsteen record that had those bass lines on, everyone said, "Wow, wow!" So like, even Jocko, it really made him even more popular. Weather Report, obviously, but the Joni Mitchell record, you know, yeah. So, but anyway, but it was really funny. I was flying out to L.A. doing a lot of records, and I'm a fretless bass player, you know. They fly me out there to do dance records. It was really kind of funny. I'm like, and I can do that stuff really good because I like it too. See, the key to, I don't know if who's listening to this interview, but the key to music is just do what it calls for at that moment, and keep your ears open. And don't no restrictions. You know, just keep your this song calls for dance. If this song calls for making someone cry, make it cry. You know, whatever. Because once you can't like look at music as just. So it was really funny with this the softness of the fretless bass. The same instrument, and I said no. They said we heard it on the record. They say, "Where's your fretted bass?" I say, "No, on those dance records, I'm playing fretless. It's just I just approach it different. It's just I just play in a different position, and I can't explain it to you." I said, "Okay, do it." So I said, "Well, can you play fretted on this?" I said, "Okay, I'll do it." And they said, "Okay, no, go back to the fretless. Now we see what you're talking about." And I used to play guitar. I was playing. You imagine the studio. I'm doing a lot of instruments, guitar, drums. I'm kind of like was the handy guy, you know. You must play music. What instrument? You have to play music. What instrument do you play?
No, I confess I don't play anything at all.
Oh, just so you're very musical. You're just a big music lover.
Purely a fan, yeah. It's
in your heart, in your ears. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Not in the fingers at all, unfortunately.
Well, we need guys like you. I was hoping to come to Australia this year, and then this happened. I was actually in contact with people to say, bring me to Australia this year.
Oh, really? With your band?
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame.
I did get a few offers as well, because some guys saw me on TV, and then he called me and he said, "I want to bring you over because you're advertised all over Australia. I want to bring you over to do a few theaters." And then I didn't. Sadly, I didn't see that guy's message until 2 months later. This was like at that time when I was over there, when I was in Melbourne. But anyway, I love Melbourne. You're in Melbourne, right?
I am, yeah. Marianne Faithfull's another one you worked with quite extensively. Tell us about how that association came to be.
Yeah, that happened. I was playing. Let me see. How did that? It was wait a minute. How did I mean? Yeah, it was really strange. I met Marianne and Lou at the same time, and I used to call Marianne Lady Lou because they remind me of each other. You know, they're similar. Yeah, and I met her husband, her boyfriend at the time, and then she said, to make it sure, she said she was looking for a bass player from Motown from Detroit, and her boyfriend at the time said, "I know this guy named Fernando." And I met her, and I didn't even audition or anything. Even with Lou, we just went in the studio, you know. But so I met her, and we became very, very good friends. And I understood her. I didn't know who she was, you know. I didn't know. I knew something about. I heard the name, you know, that kind of name is Marianne Faithfull. Even if you don't know who it is, you know that you heard it before. Yeah. So it was just like simple as that. I met her, I went over, and then they flew me over to London to do some shows with her. And then the next thing I know, she wanted me to do some albums, and we started writing together and stuff like that. But it's kind of like just happened. Like, there was no. She obviously she knew I played with Blue. See, I was kind of lucky during that period because during that same week I was in the New York Times, which is, can you imagine? So, and Fernando Saunders playing with Lou Reed, and we saw him at the concert, and and it was a big, huge write-up. So she saw that, And then what's really strange, she was promoting me. It was just really kind of funny. I'm barely with her, and then Steve Winwood was looking for a bass player. She brought Steve Winwood down to the concert with Lou Reed so Steve Winwood can see me. And then after that concert, that's when the New York Times article came out, and the Village Voice and a few other magazines about the concert. And my name was all over it. It was like Lou said, "Wait a minute." He said, "I got to be careful with you. You're getting too famous now." And so I didn't have like two sentences. It was like it was like half of the page, Lou, and then Fernando, and they talked about Robert Quine, obviously, as well, But it was like big, big article, big 2 paragraphs, I said, wow. But she was really sweet, and we just got along just naturally, spiritually, I just understood. Some people you just understand like that. It's like even with Lou, it was not the music was one part, but the friendship was deeper.
Yeah,
and that's what made the music work. It's that inter voice, the silent voice. You know what I mean? There's some people you don't have to talk to so much, and so it's like with that inter voice is saying bigger than any words. You know what I mean? And when you have that connection with someone, that doesn't happen every day. That's like having the right wife or something too. You have to have that, something, a little bit of that, right? And even your kids, you have that with your kids because you can look at them when they're doing something wrong and they know they did something wrong.
That's right. Look says 1,000 words.
And animals too, they know when they did something right. You come to. So with Lou and I, that's what we just had this intuitive thing. It's like ESP or something. It was like we really. It was what's the other word? Telepathic.
Telepathic. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just talking about your move to the Czech Republic. What prompted that move?
Well, that happened. That was like another strange mistake. I needed a place in Europe because I'm in Europe a lot. I do 50% of my work is in Europe, so I was like doing a lot of projects, and I was in Europe with Blue and with Marian Faithfull. And when I met Steve Winwood and all these people, Jeff Beck, they all live in Europe. So. And so I would go back to America for 3 days or something, and then I'm back in Europe for a month. Mm-hmm. So I said, let me get a flat. So I got a flat actually in Switzerland. Because the reason why I did that is because I was getting to the point, because even Lou was telling me, he said, if I was you, I don't want to lose you, but if I was you, you should sing, you should focus on your, I think you saw that one thing on Facebook that on YouTube that Lou's featuring me singing.
Yeah.
Did you see that thing?
I think I have seen that. Yeah.
The one was hang on to your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he used to do that all the time out of nowhere. He said, "Okay, you're singing now." I said, "Wait a minute, I don't know the lyrics." Yeah. But anyway, wait, what was I telling you? Something I slipped away from. What was I saying? Sorry.
How you found yourself in the Czech Republic?
Oh yeah. So I went to Switzerland, and that was already during that period where I did the radio broadcast because I was going to go to Italy because I needed a place in Europe, and I was going to go to Italy because I like it too. But then when I did the European broadcast, I liked Switzerland too because I spent a lot of time there, I have friends there. So I decided I need to do some soul searching and some clearing my head. So I got this place up in the mountains in Switzerland, so I could because it was a big decision. Do I go solo, stop working with Lou Reed and Marian, all these people, maybe do some recordings, but just really, what I know, I say all the energy I've been putting into those people to be successful. I say I'm getting older now, and I am older. And I say I gotta. But I still feel some good energy, I still feel it's a good timing, And I decided that, so I just stayed up in the mountains so I can make this decision. And then I called Lou and I said, Lou, I told him what I wanted to do. And because that's what I was doing in between. When I stopped working there for those 7 years, I was doing my own projects. And plus I had other projects too. Just to do Lou's music would be not enough for me spiritually, musically, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I needed other things. But anyway, I went to Switzerland, and then And then my friend in Spain, they used to. I was doing a lot of concerts in between with Lou Emery for my own shows in Italy and Spain and stuff. So this guy that was booking me in Spain said, Fernando, a friend of mine is booking concerts in Czech Republic. They're small, but you can meet it'll be a start, and you can meet some people and meet the bigger promoters. And I said, okay. So I met him. But then meanwhile, before that happened, I was working with Lou. He was friends with President Hubble. And then secondly, I work with Jan Hambric. He's from Czech Republic, so I was always curious about this place.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, because a lot of great musicians, Joe Zawinu, all these people, Miroslav Vitoris, I don't know if you heard of him.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
And all these guys from over here. So I said, well, I want to spend a little time over here to see what happens, just to see. But I was not planning to live here. So anyway, so making sure I met Hubble and I met all these people. I met the right people, luckily, and the promoters. And so then anyway, I started doing my concerts. And when I was doing my concerts here, some of the Czech musicians would sit in with me. Like, I don't know if you know that song of mine called Plant the Seed, but the banjo player lives here.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, and they're folklore musicians. They have their own thing. That's where that Jan Hammer stuff came from, even though he took it to electronic. But all those melodies, that's all from folklore.
Mm-hmm.
That's old school stuff. Part of their history. And he probably don't even know. It's just in his blood. You know what I mean? He plays that way. I don't think Jan. You know what I mean? It's just it's like me being from Detroit. This R&B is natural. But anyway, so I was. So every time I do a concert, some of those guys, I say, hey man, you want to sit in? They say, yeah, come. I say, here, bring your violin, come inside. And I started liking it. I started liking the mix of it. I said, wait a minute. So I said, I'm gonna go over and finish my album because my music is not folklore, but I like the colors. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, So I decided to go to Switzerland. To go to Czech Republic for 3 months to record these guys, and then go back to Switzerland. So I was living in Switzerland. I was always living in New York when I left Detroit. So I was living in between Switzerland and Detroit, and my European place was Switzerland. So I found a good place, nice place, a nice hideaway, and so I was going in between those two places. But then slowly, when I came to Czech Republic, some magic started happening, and I was getting a little nervous because I know everybody is slow, and nobody was sending me something. Then I thought I made a mistake, right? Because I had two places to go. I was going to go to Bosnia or Czech Republic. I was looking for this kind of stuff, some Balkan music, some other. That's just a mix with my thing. And I came here. And then this band called Czechomor, I don't know if you heard of them. They're a famous Czech band, folklore band. They took folklore melodies and made it into rock.
Okay.
So I started meeting them. I'll send you some links of some of these things. But anyway, on that song "Feel Like Crying," the violin with the handy with Susan Vega.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know if you know that. That's that guy. He's from the famous folklore band called Czechomor. He's playing the violin on there. And the guy that's playing the banjo on "Feel Like Crying," he's from a famous Czech band as well, called Druha. But I'll send you links. Anyway, you'll see his name there too. You can just type it in if you want to.
Sure.
Do research on these guys. And so that's what it was. And then meanwhile too, I said I'm gonna do the album in 3 months and then go back. And then I got relaxed. Someone found me a flat. I said I don't want to be in Prague because I'm from New York, so I don't want to be in another New York. You know what I mean? And Prague is beautiful, and Budapest is a place. But I wanted to be in an environment that's. I didn't want to be in a busy city. So anyway, I said anywhere 30 minutes outside. So someone found me a place in this city called Ostrava. And it reminds me of Detroit, where it's an industrial place, and it has and I wanted to be around everyday people, just people going to work. That's what I wanted to write the music about.
Yeah.
I wanted to be around just normal people working. And then I started liking it. Then I said I'm going to give myself 3 months. And then I told myself, I said, Fernando, why don't you just relax for 3 months, which I never did. So I got the flat here, a beautiful flat, a loft. Nobody was living in the building. It's all doctors and lawyers during the daytime, and the owner of the building, owned the top floor and had balcony, and I can play all the time. So it was like in heaven. So I decided to relax for 3 months, which was really, really good for me. Just because I'm not really a holiday person. You know, Americans, they don't do holidays. Holidays to us is a weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys and Europeans and Austrians and you guys, holiday is a month. You plan for it. It's a month, sometimes 2 months. You really make holiday.
That's
the meaning
right.
of holiday.
Yeah.
Over here, if you don't do holiday, everybody was saying, "Aren't you going to go to Greece?" It was August or something, and I say, "No, I'm not. I'm somewhere else. I'm already somewhere. Why do I want to go somewhere else? I'm just here." So anyway, I relaxed for 3 months, and it was really good for me.
Yeah.
And then I completed the record. Then I just started staying more and more, 50% here, 50%. I got rid of the place in Switzerland. And then I just started saying more and more and more over here. And then another thing, I don't know if you know, I have a son.
Yes, I was just about to ask about him. Yeah, he's carving quite a career out in music himself.
Yeah, he's I called him and he called me. I said, "Where are you?" He says, "I'm in Hungary." I said, "I'm in Czech Republic." I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, I'm trying to." He was good at soccer and music too, and he wanted to get on a soccer team, but he couldn't get the scholarship. I guess they were giving the scholarships, like most countries, to the homeland people first, and then to the citizens. Even though he was a citizen, dual citizen, he was born in America. His mother was American Hungarian. His mother went back to Hungary. It was sad, and we broke up, but quite way before that, But we stayed good friends. And anyway, his mother went to visit her mother, and because her mother was sick, and then she decided to stay in Hungary, and then he went over there for soccer. And then meanwhile, he put himself on one of these TV shows, like American Idol shows, and he came in number 2.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he could have came in number 1, but I think he fell in love with this girl, and I think he let her win. They're together now, So maybe it was a smart move.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was not. So anyway, I decided I said, "Wow, let me stay a little longer over here. I don't want to be in his city. I don't want to be invading his. You know what I mean? I don't want to go. I want to take up his area. He's in Budapest. I didn't want to take up his space. But I said, I'm like 4 hours away from 3 hours away from Vienna. From Vienna is 1 hour to Budapest. So I decided so I could just be near him, but not let him have his space so he can develop.
Yeah.
You know how kids are, because they want to get away from the parents. They don't want to, So, but anyway, so that's why that's another reason why I stayed over here longer. And he's going to be on my next album. I have a song that he's going to do sing with me.
Oh, wonderful!
And I played bass on one of his last songs. But it's really kind of funny. It's not what I would call bass. The guy was producing it, and I did all this stuff, and he just took 2 notes. He was like, boom, 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 boom. My son was so happy just to have that. Amazing. So I guess for them, that's bigger than what I mean. Nowadays, it's just one note is big. It's funny, right?
Yeah.
Dude. Wow, man, that's killing. It's really funny. Anyway, so he wrote me. He said, "Can I say that it's featuring you?" And I said, "Yeah, no problem." I said, "You can say whatever you want to say." So, but people when they say it, but it doesn't say what I'm doing. So people think I'm one of the singers. They're not imagining.
Right.
But that's all. Anyway, so we're close, but I can't go see him because there's a virus thing,
Yeah. We're all sort of.
Vienna is okay, but I don't know if I want to go to. Plus, Budapest is not letting people in. Everybody in. They're blocked off. They like most countries, they blocking. That's how Europe was able to be successful. But as you see, they're right in the same boat as America now again.
Yeah.
So that didn't help. So this thing is vicious.
It's horrible.
I think they're not telling us. They know more about it. I knew that it was airborne but they weren't telling the people. But I knew it was airborne because it was too much, everything closing that fast, shutting down businesses, airplanes stopping. I said, wait a minute, this is serious. Something is strange going on. And they kept it quiet. They say it's a virus, wear a mask, but they were not saying that it was airborne. Yes, you can get it airborne by sneezing, but this stuff is floating around.
Yeah.
It's not just a sneeze. It's out there.
I think we're all still learning about it. I think we learn something new about it nearly every day. It just
yeah, right. So,
it's crazy, but we're not doing too badly down here. We're kind of on top of things.
Yeah, you guys are okay. Canada too. Canada has like one case.
Wow, one. Goodness.
Well, because they don't let nobody in. Not even Americans. Nobody can go to Canada. Okay, they shut down too, but I guess they have the money. My friend told me that they get everybody lives there gets $2,000 a month since the shutdown.
Right. Well, we're down to about 200 cases for the entire country here at the moment, so we're pretty happy with that. Guys, yeah,
and here it's like 400, but still, this is a small country.
Yeah.
So by the size of the country, 400 is not good.
No, that's true.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because it's small. Czech Republic is really small. So, but everyone coming back from holidays bringing the virus. That's what it is. But we have to let everybody free a little bit so they can have holidays because to keep some balance with the economy. So now everybody came back from Greece, Italy, Spain, and brought the virus with them.
Brought it back again. Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, when I did the concert, I did the Lou Reed Jesus song to open the concert. And it was very strange. I was standing there, they're looking at me, I'm looking at them. We all think, who knows what each person is thinking in their head. But I said, okay, I'm really glad. I can't believe you guys came. It was full of people. I said, I'm glad you guys came. I really appreciate it. And so we're going to dedicate this song to the people and da-da-da-da. And I said, let's just have some fun. We'll die together tonight.
What a way to go. Yeah.
But I can tell they really were in their eyes. They were, when I was leaving, I was going to the dressing room. No one was walking up to touch me because everybody knowing not to touch each other. Yeah. But they were, I can see in their eyes, they really thank you, and I was thanking them too. But it was a strange night.
Sure. Yeah. Well, hopefully once all this is over, hopefully we will see you back down here, Fernando. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Yeah, because I played in your country so much. I played with John McLaughlin.
Yep. And you've been here with Lou, of course, and with Lou, yeah.
Yeah, Jeff back there, Lou. Yeah, I think that's it, but that's enough. And then the last time I played there was at the Sydney. I don't know if you were at that one, at the Opera House for Berlin.
Oh, right, yeah. No, I didn't get there to that, no.
No, what kind of radio station you have? You play radio. You're a radio station, right?
Yeah, public radio, yeah.
And you play music?
Yes, yeah, all types. Very diverse.
Okay, so I'll make sure I'll send you one of the. I'll send you the first song from the first release. Okay.
Oh, please do. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But what's really strong for my last album is a song called Happiness, and it's having a rebirth, or maybe it never had a birth. But since some people is like, what is that? Where can we buy it? Where can we? It was like 4 years ago. So it's being picked up everywhere. But anyway, the name of my new album is the name of that song is Happiness. If you want to play it, but I don't know if it fits your format. But my new album, the name of the album at the moment is going to be called We Are People.
We Are People. Okay, and that'll be in the new year. We'll look out for that.
Yeah. All right. Now I think I'm gonna try to I think it's probably good to put it out before the album, right? It's probably because I'm still working on the album. If I keep waiting for the album, nothing will come out.
that seems to be the trend these days. They drop a song or two beforehand. Yeah.
But I'm still old school. I said, to me, when you put out a product, you put out an album, because people just putting out singles,
Yeah.
But I think you think We Are People is a good title, or is this two of them? You sitting on the top, or We Are People?
I like We Are People.
Yeah, We Are People. Yeah, it's really nice. I'll send you a sneak preview, but you have to keep it until I send you a final mix, okay?
Yeah, I will do. I'll sit on it. Yep. Lovely.
Yeah, just sit on it. It's not going to be a final mix, but to everyday people, they say leave it alone. It's ready. That's when you're a musician, you make a mistake. You always think it can be better, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They say, no. What you don't touch it. Don't touch it. My musician, no, man. The bass drum should be louder, and the guitar. I say, no, man. I'm listening to my neighbor that works at the restaurant. I say, how do you like this? And they respond, great, it's finished. Anyway, really enjoy speaking to you.
And to you too.
Yep. I don't know, if there's anybody else you want to speak to, I'm sure you can find them. But if you can't find them, let me know and I can help you.
Wonderful. I'll keep that in mind.
Mike Rasky or Tony Smith or whoever.
Lovely. I'll keep that in mind for sure.
And thank you for doing this. It's good to keep. Nowadays, the media is important.
Certainly is. No, pleasure speaking with you, Fernando. All the best, and we'll look forward to seeing you down here again one day, whenever that day may be.
Yeah. So I hope next year.
Let's hope so.
It's not next year. The year after next.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we've got the new album to look forward to anyway.
Yeah, the way it seems, I don't think anyone is booking. Are they booking?
No, nothing's happening here at all.
Next year? No, not for next year.
Not at this stage.
So I'll just be playing. Locally, people love music here, so it's kind of a blessing because there's a whole market here.
Yeah.
So I'm all booked up if I want to be, So
wonderful. Okay.
Okay, but anyway, keep in touch.
Will do.
Ciao.
All the best. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.